Are you guys ready?
Sure.
All right, let's. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Craft Parenting Podcast. So this is the podcast about two Cincinnati craft beer lovers with a parenting problem.
Except today we have four Cincinnati craft beer lovers with a parenting problem.
We do. we have two guests, and first-time guests, by the way. So thank you so much for being here. Do you want to introduce yourself? Very quickly.
Matt DeMaris. Some people know me as the Cincy Brews Traveler.
I am Shanelle DeMaris, known as Matt's wife.
The wolf. You're the wolf.
and the wolf.
Do I have to call you the wolf? Like, isn't that like a drinking game?
That's if we're playing the Brews Traveler, and then we have to come up with our own Brews Travelers names.
Yep. Outcast podcast.
Yeah, and then we have to drink whenever we say actual names.
Or Truth Beer Consequences has to drink.
No, we drink.
Yeah, no, they drink.
Like if we say
Oh, you drink on yours? Okay.
Yeah, if we say someone's real name, we're like, dang it.
But I guess we're using real names. So
Yes.
thank you guys for being here. You guys traveled all the way to the west side
Yeah, man.
to be here.
Too often.
Arguably, it's the best side of Cincinnati.
I've heard people argue that.
So some people do argue that, and they would be right.
Some people have a button for that.
Oh, I don't know where it is.
West side, west side.
West side, west side.
West side, west side.
There you go. Yeah, we have buttons. Apparently, you're very impressed with our setup.
Yeah.
I am. It's awesome.
So we have buttons. So where are we, by the way?
We are at 13 Below Brewery.
Yeah.
That is 13 miles below Cincinnati on the river.
Yeah.
Is currently above water.
Yeah.
So we can hang out and drink some delicious beers.
Yeah, the river's right there.
Yeah, it's past all the boats.
And that's the reason for the name? I was wondering.
Yes.
I was going to ask that. Huh.
We can confirm with Doug later, but I'm like 95% sure on that one.
Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And we're the farthest or very close to the farthest point away from downtown Cincinnati while still being in the city of Cincinnati.
Incorporated. Okay.
Yeah, because Ohio is shaped very weird, and all of their cities and stuff are shaped very weird.
Yeah.
So.
It
'Cause of the
falls
river.
within the city limits. Huh.
Yes.
Yeah, you feel like you're out here, man.
Mm-hmm.
We came from Oak Hills High School, and I was like, if I had to jump out of the car right now, I wouldn't know where to go.
Yeah. Well, and that's the west side is very weird because it can be like, hey, here's a neighborhood, and then, oh, hey, here's like 10 acres of farmland.
Yeah.
And then here's a little city.
Yeah.
And then,
we
okay.
drove through all three of those
Yes.
today, for real.
Well, our parents moved out to Harrison, if you want to talk about farmland.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Flat and boring,
And cornfields.
and allegedly going to get a brewery at some point.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that.
We're excited
Nice.
about that.
Mhm.
But we are drinking some delicious beer. You guys got some flights. So do you want to talk about the beer that you're drinking? And then we're kind of boring because we got the same thing.
So I got a flight. I got Prost in fall. One was the Prost is the
Fest beer.
Fest beer, and then Fall Ale is their Oktoberfest style. I like both of those, but then I just took a drink of Conference 13, I think it is. That's the brown ale, right?
Confused, yeah.
Or Confused, yeah. Confused 13. It is freaking good.
It's good. It'll bite you though. I think
Is
it's 7% or something.
It is 7.6%.
It's past one.
We haven't had breakfast yet, though.
We had some almonds and a protein shake.
Okay, so this should be fun. We have some barbecue out there if we want to take a break.
We might. We're thinking about Oktoberfest after this, so we know there'll be tons of stuff down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can just go down the river road, right down here.
Yeah,
It's a straight
we're definitely driving through the city. We got the Grumman, so let's
Mm-hmm.
go.
Straight shot. And what were you drinking?
So I'm drinking Submerged, which is a wit beer.
That's a good one.
And then Wedding Day, it's a Belgian triple, and that is 9.7%.
Yeah, that's the only one that they charge more money for. Everything else is all the same price.
You know,
Is it really? What are they? Like how much do they charge? Like
I
$5
don't
or
remember.
$6, $7?
I think
Or
it's
$6?
Yeah, 6.
It's
I don't-
$9 flights, man. That is a great deal.
Yeah.
I wish everybody. I'll just take notes if there's any craft breweries listening to this. $8 flights make sense
Yeah.
because it's a highly charged pint, but you're still getting. Well, I guess you're getting a little more in a pint because these are 5-ounce pours. But
Yeah.
I hate when I have to pay $15 for a flight. It drives me crazy.
Yeah. And
that happens a lot.
it does. I really enjoyed going down to Fabled Brew Works. But then I was like, okay, I have to do the mental math of how much this flight is going to cost me and what I want to swap out to make sure I'm not hitting above the price point that I want to for a flight.
Sure.
oh,
Well, Feeble.
But
Oh,
they've got a
it's
lot of
all
high
different.
ABV
Yeah, yeah,
beers, and they have the mead.
meads, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the meads that are like lower though? What are those called?
They have session meads.
session meads. Those were so good, man.
They
those ones taste
were.
like a pina colada.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring so much stuff home, and I was like, I need to not do that, though.
I
So you
don't
gotta go
think-
back
They didn't
there.
have nothing when I was there. They didn't even have their
Yeah, I don't think
They,
that.
I don't think they had any
setup
options.
yet. Yeah, that place is good though.
But
No, it's
we didn't ask. I
Yeah.
think that was the point.
Okay, so what else you got in your flight?
And then I have 2 seltzers. So I have the pina colada and mango.
Nice.
And so far, so good. Everything's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, the
And-
West Side has some hidden gems.
for sure. West Side Brewing. I love West Side Brewing, man. I don't know if I've ever had a bad beer from them.
They're so good. I was just
Yeah.
there from yesterday. I was there.
Yeah. Mr.
For-
I'm going to mow the lawn on my birthday.
Yeah, it
it's
didn't
just a-
happen.
Hey, look, I'm mowing the lawn, and it's a picture of his mug at West Side on the bar
Whoops.
as he's texting me possible podcast ideas.
We got a marathon by our house, Moe's Marathon on
Yeah.
Plainfield and Pfeiffer,
Yeah.
and they just opened up. They have taps now. It's like 16 taps. There's only about 5 chairs around their little bar though, and I was like, get like Sons of Toil and West Side, like get breweries that we have to drive a while to get to. I'm hoping they take that advice. I mean, he's usually pretty good where if you go in there and you want something, you can request it, and then like a week or so later, it'll be on the shelf. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to get some West Side Draft right there in Blue Ash.
Here's something that I learned yesterday. I think I learned it a little before yesterday, but
I knew about it before yesterday.
West Side is opening. It's like a joint venture in Wyoming, so that's kind of by you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
it's not too
pretty
far.
close.
So it's
Yeah.
a restaurant, and they're going to have West
a-
Side beers on draft.
Nice.
It's an Irish pub called Gilligan's.
Yeah, I heard about that. I think Gnarly Gnome was posting about that or something.
Yeah. I think that's where I first heard about it, and so it's a joint venture thing. It's not West Side Brewing branded beers, but it's Gilligan branded, but it's brewed by West Side.
So do you think it'll be unique beers to Gilligan's, or will it be like just a staple West Side beer with a different label on it?
These are unique to Gilligan's.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have an
Doesn't
extra.
matter. They know how to make beer.
They have an extra stout, a stout, a red ale, and a lager. I had the lager yesterday. It was
It's already
'cause-
open?
Well, they've got the beers on draft at West Side right now.
for about a week.
That's
yeah.
a great idea, just to get people hyped.
Yeah.
So I think they did a couple test batches as well. Just to, they released the extra stout back in March because we drank that on the show.
We did.
What's
'Cause
an extra stout mean? I've never heard of that.
It's like 9%.
it's like an
a
imperial stout,
So,
so it's just a different way to
yeah.
call it.
It's like a double IPA or something,
Yeah, yeah.
triple IPA. Yeah, it's
There's-
just it has more stuff in it.
It's like
It's darker. It's higher ABV.
Nice.
yeah, like double extra and imperial all mean very similar things. It's just whatever one you actually want to use.
Right.
So
Yeah, so
Nice.
they released that back in March, and it was called Gilligan's Extra Irish Stout.
I thought was it Gillian? I thought it was Gillian's.
Maybe it is Gilligan's. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. It's horrible if I am.
It's been a long while. We've had a lot of beers since then.
Yeah. I just had it. Yeah, I just saw it yesterday. I had their lager that they're gonna have out there. It's really good. They have, like I said, they have 2 stouts and Irish red. So like if you know like Killigan's.
Mm-hmm. I love reds, man. That's a good style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good style. It's an Irish pub, so they're trying to do like Irish stuff, Irish styles.
Yeah, it was really rough yesterday because I'm sitting at work doing work things,
Jason
and
Miller.
Joe's sending me pictures of beer and like, hey, here are all these ideas for podcasts that we can do with lots of beer. And I'm like, I'm still at work.
Yeah.
I also would like beer.
That's my life.
Yeah, that happens with us sometimes, I'd say.
A lot.
So Matt, you have a very long list of stuff that you do.
Yeah.
A very long list. Which one do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about?
The most important is the parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's it. I got two kids, man. That's the biggest job I got.
And that's why you're on the west side, right? You had
Today.
a game. Is it a football game?
Football, yeah, JV. So varsity played at home at Sycamore last night, and then JV played there. So we just switched back and forth.
Okay.
And our son plays both.
Yeah.
So we
we
have
have to
football
watch
on
both games.
Friday and Saturday.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm not sports ball at all. But I remember in high school it was okay. It was the heyday of Coleraine when we could do no wrong.
Oh, you guys were awesome.
Yeah, so it
We
was
just
the
beat y'all
varsity would
last
play
week,
the
though.
first half of the game, and then the JV would play the second half of the game because they're like, well, we'll get you guys some time,
Yeah.
and we can let the varsity rest because we're already winning by 30 points, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
I was super hyped last night because Jeff Parker at Sonder, his son he's a freshman, so he plays on JV, but he comes to the varsity games. And a week or so ago, we were like, let's start tailgating, man, because all the senior parents were the tailgaters last year, and all left, so there hasn't been really any tailgating going on. So me and him started it last night. We had about 10 people stop over, and other people were like, we want to come next time. We're like, we'll be there Friday. We brought a grill in the Grumman. We pulled it out. We
Oh
did
my
it right.
God.
It wasn't even like a travel grill. It was like the
Like a
actual
straight
grill
up
from our
grill.
backyard.
If it fits.
It
I was
fits
like,
in the Grumman. We
I
just
thought
threw
you
it
were
out.
getting it like a travel one. It's
Like, we don't have a travel grill. Would you want me to go buy one? Like, we got 2 grills on the back. Let's go.
He's saving money.
He
Yeah.
is. And then we get there and he forgot the meat.
Ah.
But we live 1 mile away.
Yeah.
So.
So that's where a 16-year-old
But I was
driver
hyped.
comes in
That's
handy.
still
So we
annoying.
called up our daughter like, hey,
See, the way my
Bring
mind
the
works
meat.
is I start envisioning how things are going to be. So, like, we parked on, like, one of the flat lines at the end of the parking lot. So I see in the future, like, next year, Cole's senior year, we're going to have, like, people just lined up. You know, we're going to have the best tailgate party, cornhole everywhere. Shit, we might get blow-up rides and stuff. I don't know. Well, we're going to make it happen, man.
if
Oh
we don't
my
get
God.
kicked out.
But yeah, my son was playing football here. Here I go talking.
so your son was playing football today, and the team didn't do very well, unfortunately.
No, they got smoked today.
That's okay.
It looked like they were all drinking last night.
But they beat Coleraine last week, though.
Yeah,
That's all
That
that
was like
matters.
the first time beating Coleraine in, I don't know, however many years.
18.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a long
I don't have a
time.
horse in that race anymore.
Yeah.
This year I graduated in
Well, the coach is
09.
gone.
Yeah.
So
well,
it's it's not the same program as it was when you were there.
yeah. Well, my first year was the last year of Coach Kelly, and then he went to college ball, and then it was okay. We still have people that learned from him, so we were still doing okay.
Right.
And
it's
then
kind of plateauing, and then
yeah, and then it started going downhill.
it's not really downhill. It's just normal. Like
Yeah.
he was an abnormal coach.
He was.
He was just really, really good.
Yeah. And it was between him and then a lot of the like ex-Marines that they had as coaches, they were doing a really, really good job. And it was actually the reason why a lot of my friends actually went into the Marine Corps was because they were like, hey,
No kidding.
Wow.
He was recruiting.
yeah, a lot of them ended up recruiting.
What's Nelson? Oh, full Nelson. This is the American Stout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was in the marching band, so I went to every single football game.
Dude, I'll tell you what, too. Like, marching band people put in hours. Because we live right by the high school, so I'm always driving by it. And
Yeah.
I swear they're out there at all hours practicing. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I was
We
like,
practiced 3 hours, 2 days a week. That was our standing practice time. The guys had band class, so it was part of our school. On top of that, And we had Friday night football games, and then Saturday
Band
competition.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Which was all day. I was gone. This time of year, I was just gone all the time.
And this house is a weird house for us because we're not basically backyards with the high school, so we don't get to hear marching band 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Because that was when we moved out of our parents' houses, because they were both backyard to a high school. We're like, oh yeah, we're just not going to have that anymore. And then we step outside one fall day, and I'm like, I can hear the marching band. Yep, we're still here.
Nice.
But now this house isn't close enough to a high school where we can do that. Though we can hear Edgewater from time to time, so that's nice.
I don't hear them.
It's a drag strip.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Edgewater.
I can hear
used
the
to go there as a
band.
kid. You can hear the band?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I can't hear real good.
That's the hearing thing. Got to get that checked out.
What?
Played too much loud music in high school.
Yeah.
Probably.
Definitely.
A lot of guys that I know are like that now.
Yeah.
But you were telling me that you have a new designated driver.
Yeah.
So,
Our daughter just turned 16. Our son turns 15
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
okay.
Holy cow.
I know.
September birthdays are where it's at, I hear.
Yeah. Well, our daughter is July. Wow. Is yours September?
My birthday
His
was
was
yesterday.
His was yesterday.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
just said that. Happy belated.
That's awesome.
Our daughter is September as well. Though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I kind of really wanted her to be born in August because then we would have, between the dogs and us, we would have a May, a June, a July, and a September birthday.
Nice.
But we missed August. And then
Ah.
Elliot's weird because he's in February.
Yeah, he's all by himself.
he is, yeah. Space it out though.
Yeah, but she's been driving for a minute. We gave her Chanel's old car, and it's pretty nice, man. I worry about her a little bit, but she's very responsible.
She's very responsible, but she's also like a speed demon.
Yeah, I
though.
drove with her yesterday back from the volleyball game at Lakota East, and I was like, man, you need to slow your ass down.
I mean,
my
I
God.
was too at that age. Joe would argue that I still am.
She is. It's worse because she has a minivan.
Hey, I can corner that thing pretty good. It's fine.
So my parents' rule when I was growing up was like if I got a speeding ticket, I had to pay the ticket and then double, so pay them for the double the price. So I'm like, this is the same thing. You get a speeding ticket, you pay the ticket, and then you pay me for whatever it is. So that should
Yeah.
maybe slow her down. I don't know.
Well, my dad told me I had to pay insurance, and that was back in, I'm talking about 92, you know what I mean? And it was $100 a month, 112.
Yeah.
But I had so many tickets before I turned 17, my license got suspended until I was 18. I was the only senior riding the bus.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to come down to Old Milford and pick me up.
Yeah.
So I was like, and my insurance went through the roof. I was like, what was I doing?
Yeah. I know some kids in high school that should definitely have not had their licenses. And one of them had gotten in like 3 accidents in 3 months and had to go to court. And at court, they're like, well, we're going to suspend your license. And her parents were like, well, her car's already in storage and we refuse to give her the keys to our car. And they're like, well, I guess we don't technically have to suspend your license then, but like, yeah,
for
get your
me.
act together.
14 months and 20 days.
Mm-hmm.
It sucked.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm a some call it a grandpa driver, I guess.
I would say that.
I have never gotten a speeding ticket. Knocking on wood. Hopefully this is real wood.
You probably won't if you drive slow.
Yeah. I use
Five
Waze.
over is
Yeah.
basically the.
You won't get pulled over for that. You shouldn't.
I try.
So my ticket wasn't for speeding. I've never gotten a speeding ticket either, but it was for a seatbelt violation because my friend got pulled over and I wasn't wearing my seatbelt.
So you weren't even driving.
$55
Oh my
back
god.
in like '98.
Oh my
Seatbelts
God.
save lives.
I know. I don't drive without it now or ride without it.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless we're like driving to Florida, then I do cruise control like 10 over. Or
I
whatever.
thought you were about to say I'd take my seatbelt off.
No.
We're going to Florida.
No.
Like, I'll throw it off. Like.
No, I've always worn the seatbelt.
So this is the kind of person that I am. After COVID, we were both essential workers, but he was a work from home, and I was I'm in the plant. I have to go into work, and the speed limit on 275 seemed to go from 70, from like 65 or 70 to like
90.
80
Yeah.
or 90. Because it's like, I'm
No one's
driving and I'm
there.
like, wait, you're passing me? You have to be going at least like 90. And so then Joe actually went out of the house and he drove somewhere and he's like going 65 or 68. And I'm like, you better get in the right-hand lane because the speed limit for 275 now is like 90 miles an hour.
There was no one on there. It was great, man.
I stopped using my GPS to get to work because I was like, I don't have to worry about traffic. And then, of
Yeah.
course, one day there was an accident, and I'm like, it's going to take me an extra hour to get home.
Yeah, like those are the good old days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I live 15 minutes away from where I work. It's four turns and 6 stoplights.
Man,
but
that's
but who's counting?
Chanel
Yeah.
has never worked more than 6 miles from our house.
10.
10?
Yeah.
10 miles from our house.
That's
It
pretty
makes a
good.
big
Graduated
difference.
college. That's crazy to me. Because I've worked very far.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I've talked to recruiters and they're like, well, like at Florence, like, I can't do it. It's far. Like,
Yeah.
Where, like, most people, that isn't a terrible commute, but if I can't get door to door in 15 minutes,
Well, it's hard when you've got kids, too, because it's like somebody's got to be close enough to say,
he works from home.
this is true.
Yeah, I'm the wild card here.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Until we drag him out to the west side to help us find a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
For
you'd be
clients, I
surprised.
mean, he'll do it. He'll be everywhere.
Yeah, like right now I've got clients that are on the west side. They're looking over here. I've been coming over here a lot. I've got another one where I've been going to like Middletown, Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Oh, that's a drive.
Oh, yeah, they're both of them for me. And then I got another one in Amelia. That's not too bad. It's about 30 minutes,
Okay.
but it's not bad. I mean, it's part of the gig.
Yeah.
When I got real long drives, I take her car because she got a hybrid. So I was like, oh, I got to take that now. Or I'll go up to the high school and switch my daughter's car out. Like, I'll just leave my truck there and grab her car.
She hates it.
Yeah, she hates driving a big-ass truck.
It's a good skill to have.
She's not afraid at all.
Yeah. His dad refuses to let me drive his truck.
He refuses to let
He
anyone.
refuses to let anyone drive his truck, though.
Like, you're not even my mom.
Well, okay, he has good reason to not let your mom drive the truck. And your sister. But I can drive the truck, except now he says I definitely can't drive his truck because I accidentally hit their fence with the driving lawnmower when I was mowing their lawn this week.
Yeah.
In my defense, I didn't know the hill was that steep and that his lawnmower couldn't go in reverse when it was on that hill.
Wow.
It
I've
made a
had 2
difference.
of these beers.
You have?
Yeah, I've had submerged and wedding day. And
Somebody might
I
have brought a
apparently
growler or
liked them a
something.
lot, man. So I'm hype about those. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
You're
you off.
fine.
I'm just super hype.
Wow.
There's some really good beers out here. It's just, it's a drive. It's a weird location. You have to cross 4 train tracks, and please be very careful while doing that, because sometimes the trains just fly by.
Yeah,
There
we
aren't the cross rails, right?
No,
I
there are
noticed
not.
that.
Shit, really? I just rolled the Grumman through. I could have got that can opener, man.
Yeah. But before you guys got here, there was a train that went by, and it was going pretty fast. Now, they do blow on their horn really hard.
Okay.
yeah.
But, yeah, it was interesting for me being this close to the river all the time. It's only about 50% at best of all the railroad crossings that actually have bars.
Well, that's scary.
Wow.
Well, because a lot of them just go to businesses.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, yeah, it's the same business that they're stopping at sometimes.
Huh.
Good to know.
My son loves trains. I remember we first bought the house. We were just outside. It was a warm January day. Weird Ohio weather. But they were both outside running around, and we could just hear the trains, and they were both yelling, choo-choo.
Oh, no, it was, choo-choo, come here. Come here, choo-choo, thinking that if they told the train to come to our house,
Oh, is that what they were saying?
That was what they were saying.
Okay. But,
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
no, they love it. We just went to a coffee shop around the corner from our house.
Mm-hmm.
And right across the street, there's River Road and then the coffee shop. And across the street from the coffee shop, there's a terminal with train tracks. And then there's a train tracks that goes through. And then we saw 2 trains.
We saw one train, we heard a second train. Oh, no, I guess we did see the second train, too.
Yeah, it was a blue train.
Yeah.
The blue engine.
And Elliot lost his mind.
No, they love it. Our
You gotta
kids.
take him to Entertainment Junction up there.
We have, and we
you?
need to do it again.
It broke his head. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he was.
He didn't know where to look. He didn't know what to do.
He didn't know what to do. Yeah, that was the beginning of his train obsession too, because we just learned about train spotting videos and all that. We used to go to Taft's Brewporium. That's our other spot that we like to go to.
Yeah.
They have Train Tuesday.
Yeah.
$1
off your pint as a train is passing by the brewery on the close tracks.
What?
Yeah, I
There's a
don't.
Y split right next to the brewery.
okay.
So a lot of the times they're on the far tracks, but if it's on the close tracks, it's $1 off your pint.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
think we've ever gone on a Tuesday. But,
We've gone on Tuesday once.
That's a cool thing to have.
Mhm.
We used to live right by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here,
Never do that.
here at 13 Below, there's the train tracks. I think they have.
Yeah, and I think
it's Train Monday. I think.
And I think it's like 30. It's like up to 20 minutes after a train has passed or something like that.
Yeah.
They have a time limit on theirs. Taft's is just when the train is driving by and then it's done.
That's cool.
Hmm.
I mean, when we lived over there, like the trains, like was never a good thing.
Yeah.
Usually, like we're trying to get.
yeah, St. Bernard.
Yeah, St. Bernard.
Yeah, because
Trains.
it blocks the road.
Yep.
Vine Street. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So if you're trying to get somewhere, especially during rush hour,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you're late for
Done.
work.
Well, because part of it's because it's flat, so you don't have the bridges that you can either you're going over the train or the train's going over you.
Yeah.
Because when I worked in Hamilton, they're like, yeah, don't use the trains as an excuse for not getting to work on time, because you should know the train schedules by now, because
Really?
they're always a thing. That the place that I worked was not very kind to its employees. So
The trains can go off schedule pretty easily.
Yeah.
It seems like what do you mean? I'd be like, get out of here.
yeah, and out of the like 4 roads that you could take to get in, 2 of them would be blocked by trains at any given time. So it was like, yeah, try to find a bridge to go
Did you
across.
leave that job?
Yes.
Good for you.
I left. I got to be stay-at-home mom for 6 weeks, and then I found a job that I enjoy much more.
That
was the
sounds
train
awesome.
like the train thing the last straw, or was that one of your first red?
No,
flags?
it was one
You're
of the first red flags. Because it
Yeah,
was
that
that
wasn't the
and
reason.
my buddy who I went to work there for, like he had warned me it wasn't the best place, and I was like, but I want to work with you to like improve myself because you're one of the best mentors that I've had. And then within a week of starting, he's like, yeah, so a recruiter contacted me to chop cars in half and put them back together again, and I'm like, I can't compete with that because that's like your dream job. And I stuck it out as long as I could. And
So where I work, there's a train track that you have to cross the train track, and then our parking lot's right there.
mhm.
I don't think we have that rule. Like,
Yeah.
if they're
Most sane people would
Yeah, I
not.
don't- I've never
These
heard
people
that.
were not sane.
okay, okay, I'm like,
That seems just bad.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think we pretty much covered the parenting thing.
Yeah.
But Matt, you're in the craft beer community, as we are. You have your own group on Facebook. Do you want to shout that out?
Yeah, Cincinnati Brews Travels. I don't run that though. That's Mark.
That's Mark.
Or
Yeah.
Quick Trip. Quick Trip does that one.
All
So, but yeah, we just kind of, when the podcast came out, we started thinking about making a group, and I think now really all it is pictures of boards. Like some people post some stuff, but usually it's just like take a picture of whatever board you're at what brewery and post it up there so people can see what's on the board.
Yeah.
And I'll do that here in a minute because I always do that so I can fill out Untapped. That's what I've been doing while we've been talking. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's cool because sometimes I'll see something on a post and I'll be like, oh, I got to get out there and try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've posted in there a few times.
We don't post boards. We post
No.
like,
Hey,
Come
look, we're at this
listen.
crazy brewery.
come
Yeah.
listen to our podcast.
Yeah, well, that's cool too, though. I mean,
Yeah.
anything beer related, but that's all I really do on there. For the
Yeah.
most part. Sometimes we'll promote podcasts and stuff, but we haven't had one in a while. So
So yeah, well, what is your podcast so people can listen? What is-
Podcasts. Pick
Yeah.
one.
So-
Okay,
Stick with that one.
the
and then we'll go
Brews
to the
Traveler.
next one.
Yeah.
So, I got Shanelle with me. So the Brews Travelers Outcast podcast is our. It's kind of like a brewery review or like informational podcast where we go to different places, talk about the aesthetics, and ask a bunch of rapid fire questions to the brewery rep or owner or brewer or something.
And other breweries that are close. So which other breweries can you travel to while you're at this one? So if
5 mile radius of if you took a day trip and wanted to hit up some breweries, like what else could you hit? And then the end we just kind of rate the beers we drink. And the other one I do is called Hustle and Brews. That's the one I started with. It's kind of a passion project it's actually made for my kids. But I interview entrepreneurs at breweries and just talk about the hustle. It's just something that gets me fired up. So, and I don't really want my kids to ever work for anyone. I know they will. They already do. My daughter already does, but
our son does not want to.
Yeah.
He's ready to get his own eBay store going. And
I mean, there's some benefit to it because, like, I was talking to an old manager that I had at the job that I was not happy at, and he's like, well, there is some benefit to saying, like, this is what you know that you don't want to do, and this is how you know you don't want to be to help you be a better person.
And it's a personality thing, too, I think. I mean, I knew the whole time I was in corporate America, I knew that this was not a good fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I had no ambition to move up the ladder and, make someone else a whole bunch of more money. I was always working on side hustles forever until they became my main hustle. So
yeah. But there was the whole Dolly Parton commercial at some point that was working 5 to 9 instead of 9 to 5 because it was the what's your side hustle kind of deal.
Oh, I never saw that, but that's awesome.
It's a website, yeah.
Yeah, it was some website commercial.
It's I think it wasn't
like Squarespace or something like that, but
Squarespace. It's
Squarespace,
like
GoDaddy, something like that.
It's like WordPress, but it's
that's cool. I'm gonna
that is cool.
It's a content management system. They did a commercial with Dolly Parton.
That's how it is at first. You're just like whatever time you can put in on it.
Yeah, but then with our kids, like they'll see like you, like the entrepreneur doing your thing, and then me, the corporate slave.
I mean,
we're both doing okay.
And I'm very compliant, so I will do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then.
But it's a perfect marriage too because we need like the health insurance and the stability that the corporate offers.
Yeah.
So I think we meld well together in terms of our personalities and how we work. But my goal is one day to get to like be waiting outside of her doors when she walks out of that job.
Yeah.
Like
that day couldn't come soon enough.
I
get jealous about like the conversations like, oh yeah, I had a 2-hour beer lunch today, and I'm like, I want to have beer lunches.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
I mean, technically you can do that. It's just a matter of whether or not you have a job when you come back from said 2-hour beer lunch.
Not my job. I would not.
No, I wouldn't laugh.
Yeah.
They each have their own perks, and I've done them both. And it was funny, like on Facebook, how the memories pop up. Like 10 years ago or something, I wrote something that said, corporate America can be demoralizing. And at this time the market's down, so things are really slow for me in terms of my full-time job. So it's like, yeah, I'm feeling that now. Like I'm in another position. I'm looking at it from a different angle, and like. Having a paycheck coming in right now would be great, but there's trade-offs for both. I just prefer this one, eat what you kill.
Well, I think as long as you find a community that you like too, that makes a big difference. Because like right now where I am, I really enjoy the people that I work with, and that makes everything a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in a place where I can grow and where they're going to appreciate me for my skills.
Yep.
That's huge. That's huge.
Mean, I've been at the same company for 12 years now. I mean, it's a good company. I mean, it's very secure. I mean, for the most days, like I like what I do. And I can pretty much do what I want. So it's like, I could give this up for something else or just stick around because, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said, too. If you do own your own business, there's the whole, you have to hire people. Like if you own like your own brewery or whatever, you have to eventually trust other people with your product. And I feel like that's getting harder and harder to find the people to do that.
It's always been hard because no one's going to
Yeah.
No one's going to promote your shit or your product as hard as you. Like, they're never going to have that much passion. You might get lucky and find that, you know, like needle in a haystack employee that just is all in. You know what I mean? Just like you. But I hear that from entrepreneurs all the time. The hardest part is building up the people so you're able to step back a bit. You know what I mean? And kind of look at it from a bird's eye view and keep it running at the same time. And I hear that constantly.
Yeah.
And finding people, it's tough. Like, you hear that over and over in the news or anybody that's got any kind of business. They're like, man, trying to find some good employees. I mean, shit, you see Wendy's is closed down at 6 half the time in Blue Ash because they just can't find people to fill the shifts.
Right.
It's crazy.
So, like, with the Hustle and Brews podcast, like, I feel like we've had the opportunity to talk to tons of entrepreneurs that have, like, it's like there's a formula that people don't realize that has to go into, like, having a successful business, but then especially, like, if you're in a relationship and, like, having a family. So, like, after, like, I don't know how long we've been doing it, but, like, there's commonalities there with everybody's story. Like, there's so many things that are the same.
Yeah.
Where,
Common
like,
themes.
Yeah, like, it's pretty cool.
I want to write a book one day of, like, things I've learned from 100 interviews with entrepreneurs. I still got a lot of episodes to go, but I know I'm kind of seeing what the basic, you know, lessons are going to be. I mean,
Yeah.
It's also something that can't be taught too. I mean, like you said, you have to have a certain personality.
You have to be outgoing. You have to be willing to be your biggest cheerleader, which can be hard for people to do.
Yeah.
Like,
You
say,
just have
hey,
to
I'm
keep
awesome,
going.
and I'm more awesome than you, and I know that, and I can do this better than you can.
Especially when things are going terribly.
Yeah.
Because that happens all the time.
Like
all the time.
Like even with a podcast, right? I think the majority of podcasters, anyone can start a podcast. You have a phone. I mean, I'm using a phone to record. Anyone can technically do it, but do you want to spend the time to edit, to produce, to be constant, to be consistent? Because consistency helps you build an audience, which helps build a brand. It's whatever. I mean, you don't do it every week, but you do it still consistently.
I don't know if I use consistently anymore.
Yeah, I can't even say. I'm like a somewhat podcast.
But-
I can't even say part-time, man.
But the point is, I think most podcasters stop after 7 episodes. They just completely give up.
Yeah, I think there's a stat out there where that's about where it is. Like, they're just
Yeah.
like,
Like,
nope.
you have more than 7 episodes of each of these podcasts.
Yeah, we're like 20-something on each
I
one.
mean, you're still way above, but we're at 160.
I don't remember
That's
anymore.
awesome.
It's a lot.
Technically, I mean, we've
If
done
we include like the point something
yeah, we've done
episodes.
bonus episodes and stuff like
That's
that.
dedication.
And you guys, let me ask you this. Like, the reason for this podcast is it for your kids?
A bit.
Or is it for you to, like, kind of look back at
It's-
what was going on at that time? Because you guys talk about very personal stuff. You know, like,
So-
it's like watching you live, basically, or listening to, like, how your life is going.
Yeah. So a bit of it is for our kids. And like, hey, look what mommy and daddy did. But a lot of it too is for me. Like, I have a baby book for Lily that I maybe filled out like 3 pages of it. I have 0 baby book for Elliot. I am
Same.
terrible at recording stuff like that. But meanwhile, like, my mom is like, hey, here's your baby book so I can show you like when all of your teeth came in and we can compare that to your kids.
Yeah.
And like, oh, hey, look, I have this old Perfection game that was mine when I was a kid and you played with that your kids can play with now. And like, here's all the toys that you played with as a kid that now your kids can play with. And I'm like, I'm not organized enough for that.
That is totally Matt's mom. Like, she's like the most amazing person ever. And so she's like, hey, like, I saved all of Matt's toys, like his baby blanket and like all of this stuff. And she also makes books for my kids. So
Yeah.
like
Like
summertime.
their summers,
There's
like,
summers.
it's
Like, this is
cool.
all the things that you did this summer. So like,
It's so easy to do
I'm
now.
not that put together, but she's magical and amazing. And so I'm like, thank God, Mimi.
That's a generational difference, though,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they didn't have the ability to have, like, everything recorded. You know, like, I think as the kids get older, they'll probably, I mean, they'll look through those books too, but they'll probably have a good time sitting down because you're not just looking at pictures and imagining what's happening in that scene. Like, you're
Yeah.
hearing it. You're hearing inflection. You're hearing emotion. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's something. It's more personal, or more, it gets a little deeper than like a photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's a cultural thing. I feel like I want to promote being a parent, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people our age aren't doing it. They think career is more important, which is fine, whatever. For me, family is important, and that's what I wanted to promote.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
I'm the rare one in the office where I will tell my manager, "Hey, go home." It's like 30 minutes before our normal quitting time, my normal quitting time on Friday. But the weather's great. You've been here before me. You've left after me every day this week. Go home and spend time with your kids.
Yeah.
And
That's
one of my
awesome.
managers was like, "Thank you for doing that," because nobody else was doing that. And I'm like, you need to go home and spend time with your kids, because this place is good to you. It gives you a paycheck. Like, they're really nice to you, but ultimately, like, your kids are the reason why you have this job. You need to say, okay, I have done my piece for the week. It's time to go spend time with my kids.
Yeah.
Turn off the
Absolutely.
phone tomorrow. If I get an email from you, I'm going to yell at you on Monday. Like,
That's
no,
awesome.
stop
I do
for a
the-
day.
I do the same thing. Like, I have a team that, reports to me, and it's like, hey, guys, it's nice.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but I'm about to get out of here.
Mhm.
Or, like, like volleyball is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Football is on Friday and Saturdays. Like,
My husband's been drinking since lunch.
I need to go pick up his wasted
and
ass.
I'm leaving. Like, I will not miss a game. Like, that's a non-negotiable for me. So, like, most of the people on my team, they don't have kids. Well, some have older, and like one is like expecting, but I'm like, your family comes first. Like, this place will always be here.
Yeah.
So just do your thing, and then like when you're here working, like, I expect you to be on point. But other than that, get out of here and go be with your family. That's what's most important, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
and there's that the trope, I guess, that no one on their deathbed ever said, "I wish I spent more time in the office."
Exactly.
Yeah, right. That's the truth.
The
man.
quality guys have that on one of their walls at work, along with, oh my goodness, I'm going to mess it up. But it's something along the lines of, like, confusion is when you're, it's something.
No, I want to know it.
It's like when your brain gets confused because I'm gonna have to find it. But it's like when your brain gets confused because you're resisting the urge to choke someone out.
Well, I want to know it now because I want to choke people all the time.
Well, and like it was hilarious because we were having an issue with the part at work, and I was taking a video to send to the supplier to be like, "Hey, this is what it's doing. Please fix this for us." And I was like, "Oh man, this sign is in the background of this video."
It's in your head.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
You're gonna look for it now.
I'm gonna look for it now.
I'm looking it up too.
Okay, we
Yeah.
have the
Confusion choke quote. That's what I'm looking up. Let's see what it says.
and the FBI is coming in 3, 2, 1. They're coming to arrest us.
I mean, I've got an FBI guy that's dedicated to me. I know it.
Oh, I'm sure we.
Hi,
all do.
George.
What?
It's not coming up.
You don't think the NSA or something listens to your text and stuff, and has like that's like a joke that we have.
Oh, stress. The confusion when one's mind overrides the body's desire to choke the living shit out of someone who desperately needs it. That's what it was.
Yeah, I just pulled it up too, like right
Yeah.
when you said that. That's the truth.
That's the joke that we always say, that we have a dedicated government person listening to us.
Yeah, I got a dedicated FBI agent. I've Googled enough weird stuff. I've said enough weird stuff on the internet.
Yeah, man. I'm opposite. I like when people get nervous, like they're listening into everything. I was like, yeah, they don't care about me. Like, why would they listen to me? Like, there's no reason. I'm insignificant.
I don't know if there's a reason to listen to us, but I mean we're on YouTube and stuff.
They can hear you though, because I mean
Yeah.
it's crazy how ads pop up whenever you're talking about something, like someone's listening to you.
Well, now there's the viral TikToks and Reels where it's like, hey, Christmas is coming up, so let me hack into my husband's phone and just like pick up his phone and say like, massages for wife, best gift ideas for wife, flowers, chocolate.
That's actually pretty brilliant.
My phone doesn't usually pick up on that stuff, but I'll be talking yours shortly.
Our Christmas gifts are set.
Yeah, we're good for
There
Christmas
you
this
go.
year.
I have no idea what we're doing yet this year.
Our kids decided to forfeit Christmas this year. For
We've
the
been
first
trying
time.
to talk
We've been
them
trying to
into
tell
it for
yeah.
years. Like they don't remember what they got last year or the year before that. So
But they remember every day of every vacation we've been on. Like they'll bring up certain days. Like, remember when we did this? And I'll be like, no, it was an all-inclusive. I was drinking. But they remember that stuff. And this year we're going to a concert in L.A.
it's a festival.
Nice.
Yeah, like a music festival. So,
Okay.
Like we save a certain amount for Christmas every year. You know, we got a Christmas budget, and they came down and they were like, we don't want anything. We just want to do this. And I was like, boom, experiences, because they'll never. And we've got limited time with our kids. I know you guys aren't there yet. Like they don't even want to hang out with us anymore. But you think about it, my daughter is 16. She's gonna. I got 2 years with her.
She's
You know.
starting to date a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and my son is about to be 15. I got 3 years left with him. You know, they might stay around a little longer than that. But it's like after that, I'm going to see him, if I'm lucky, 5-6 times a year.
Yeah.
You know, like my time is dwindling away, and it's crazy to me. So, like, anytime we can do something that can create a memory or be meaningful, like, that's what I'm going for every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I want them to remember that stuff. So we're going to all get face tattoos in LA, too.
We actually looked it up, and if you're under 18, you can't get tattoos.
In California. But it wasn't going to be face tattoos. I'm just kidding.
It was going to be a tattoo of some
Somewhere.
sort, though.
So-
So they were pretty pumped.
So there's some viral thing that I don't agree with, where it's like, it's this mom voiceover where like, you only have 18 summers with your kids, so like make those 18 summers count and like do all of the things, and like, yeah, the season may be hard, but like you only get 18 of them, so like do the best that you can. But it's like, no, that's not the case. So like when we were in college, we were basically an old married couple at that point anyway.
Yeah.
Because it would be like, okay, Monday night we're at my mom's house for dinner. Tuesday night we're at his parents' house for dinner. And then we kind of kept like Sunday dinner with his family for a little while. We would go to my mom's house every once in a while. And then we had the kids. And then it was, okay, we're back to like one night a week for family dinner with everybody. And then we're very fortunate because they watch our kids. So it's
Yeah.
like, we see them all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just matters, like, if your family
If you get
lives here,
along.
or if they live
Yeah,
here. Like,
if
my
they live
family doesn't
locally.
live here, so, I mean, we go back as much as we can, but with his parents.
It's still a bad thought. I mean, it's also
is.
the same as like I don't know what I want to do in terms of like being done with my career. Like I don't know if I'll ever retire really, but like if one of my kids moves to Cali, that's gonna throw a wrench in everything I'm thinking.
I'm
Yeah.
moving
Like
to
well, I
Cali.
can't think
Moving.
that far ahead. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Or I'm gonna buy a rental property. I'll buy a 2-family in Cali that we can fly out to every other month, and and have the rental income coming in. But I don't know. I have no idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
One kid could be in Cali, one could be in Florida. I don't know. I hope they're both local, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask them to stay here. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do, but I was gone. Like I went to Cali, I went to Florida, I went to Florida,
Colorado.
Key Largo, I went to New York. Like I didn't care. Like I was trying to adventure, man. Like
But then you also still came back.
I always came back. Like Cincy's my home. I love it here.
It's
So you grew up in Cincinnati.
Milford, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, because I remember in high school, all these people being like, as soon as I turn 18, like, I'm moving out of Cincy. I'm never coming back. 3/4 of them stayed. But it's like, okay, between the cost of living and all the activities that you can do within 45 minutes of any point in town,
It's a great city.
there's not many places that can beat this.
Yep.
And even if they can, everything's going to be at least 2 times more expensive.
Yeah.
Well, my thing was like I moved to Colorado like the summer after I graduated. I went out there and worked at a ski resort. Like lived on the ski resort and everything like that. But I think similar to like you guys, like in college, you're always visiting your family. Like I always wanted to be back. Like I was I had real tight bonds with my mom and dad. My brother was still here. You know what I mean? So, like I was like, why wouldn't I? Like this is all fun. This is an adventure. But when you're at a place for 6-7 months and then it's just, you know, the shine is worn off. You know what I mean? It's like it's not as great as back home. You know what I mean? Like you don't have all these people to lean on, or you know, like you miss seeing people that you love and. You know, I just always ended up back here. Like,
well, and I feel like
I had great adventures, though. You know what I mean? Like, I have great stories, and I've seen a lot of cool shit, but the Natty is my spot,
I feel like the type of parent you are, kind of to a certain extent, like, depends on if your kids want to flee from you or if they still want to hang out with you. So, like, our daughter's, like, she's like, I'm going to UC. Like, I don't want to go anywhere far. This is where I want to go to school. And then our son, sometimes he's like, well, I don't really know. And then other times he's like, I'm getting out of here. So, I mean, I think it's a testament to...
He's me. He's going to be gone.
Yeah.
The relationship that you build.
It's a personality thing, too.
Yeah.
Me, I always... Cincinnati is all I knew. It's all I've ever known. Like, I've always lived on the west side of Cincinnati. I will die here on the west side of Cincinnati if I have my way. I'm not leaving. I've traveled. I've been to Europe. I've been across the United States.
And it's nice to travel, but it's also really nice to come back home.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And people can say that about wherever they're from. You know what I mean? Like people always pump up their hometown. Like I get it. I do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like there's probably things that you're just so used to and they're ingrained in you. You're part of the soil essentially. Like that's where your roots are. Like I get it, man. I love it here.
And when I was in high school, my senior year, I did do college tours at Miami, Oxford. I did Ohio University. I did UC and Northern Kentucky.
Probably.
I don't think I toured Northern Kentucky. That was like
Well, it wasn't much of a school at that point. It was still pretty.
I applied.
Tiny.
I applied to 4 colleges, and part of my upbringing was, I guess I have kind of humble upbringing, and a humble upbringing in that I have a very frugal background, I guess.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah. My family is kind of frugal. I just kind of saw, why would I go to Miami? Why would I go to Ohio and pay $40K a year? Like I came up, and my parents kind of, I guess they raised me like this, and they kind of whispered in my ear, like, why you can live at home, you can commute, you can save
much money.
And that was appealing to me. I could commute to UC. I could get my degree, and that's what I did. That worked for me. I don't know about your kids, obviously, but
well, they're paying for their own college, so.
Yeah, and I paid for. My parents did the loan thing, and that's a whole other topic.
So our daughter, at Sycamore, they had to do an assignment, like looking up colleges and then like the tuition and all of that. I think it was like part of a finance class. And so I think that was like her awakening in like 7th or 8th grade. And she's like, I'm going to UC. Like, why would I go anywhere else? That just makes sense. Like I'm not going to spend that much money. So, I mean, since then, besides the fact that we're like, you're Bearcat babies, because that's where we met. And that's where she wants to go.
Well, our joke is that the kids can go to whatever college they want to inside the University of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I like that. I want to use it.
But then our buddies just told us yesterday that if you go to like UC Blue Ash, it's like half the cost.
Yeah, that's like a
campus.
It's like a community college.
So like for the first 2 years, if you go there, it's like.
Is that just because we live in Blue Ash? Or if
no,
I don't think so. No.
So the first 2 years,
that is Raymond Walton.
Yeah,
they used to have it out in Batavia too. Like
they still do.
They still do.
Yeah, they do.
They took over like a Chinette plant or something like that.
Yeah. So then, like the 3rd year though, you can go to the main campus and then you get the same price.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
same thing with like Cincinnati State. You go to Cincinnati State, you at least back when Beaver.
Yeah, go there for your first 2 years
You-
and then
you take
transfer up
your-
to
you
UC for your
take your-
bachelor's.
Yeah, that's
Your
awesome.
I went to
English
UC
101 and all that.
I'm older than everybody at the table, but
Mm-hmm.
when I went to UC, it was in semesters still. And
Quarters.
So quarters.
Quarters.
Yeah.
Quarters.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was $2,700 a quarter, or
Yeah.
$1,700 a quarter, something like that. I was like, and I think about that now. I'm like, holy crap! Like
Mm-hmm.
that was so cheap.
In a lot of
Yeah.
the years we were there, they were on tuition freeze. But like I want to say, like my sophomore year at UC, maybe we'll go with my freshman year at UC. It was probably freshman year because that was when I was at school for all of the quarters because it wasn't co-op hadn't started yet, so it was the same price. Between my books and tuition, I was paying the same or less than his parents were spending to send his brother to Catholic high school.
Dang.
And I was like, but like I was living at home because for me it was me and my mom. And mom was like, and I looked at Purdue. I didn't apply right to Purdue, so like I didn't have a shot there anyway. But part of it was like my mom said, well, if you go to Purdue, I'm going to go move out there. So I was like, well, if I go to Purdue, not only do I have to like pack up my stuff for a dorm room, I also have to pack up my whole life
Wow.
to help my mom move. So yeah, I'm just going to stay in town because then I don't have to move anything and I can save money. Because she was also like, you have enough money to pay for school and have some left over if you stay at home and go to UC. If you live on campus, you're going to have to pull out loans towards the end unless you get a bunch of scholarships. And if you go anywhere else, you're definitely going to have to get out loans. And I was like, well,
That's dope.
I'd rather have the money for a down payment on a house and be able to
Nice.
save my college job money to add to that.
Well, and it shows that like you were family oriented from the beginning. You know, it's kind of
And-
ingrained in you, man. Like that's impressive. I
Yeah,
like
well,
it.
like part of it is now that I'm on,
She was looking for a future. She was
yeah.
future looking. A
Yeah.
lot of people, they're like, they live in the now. Like
Mm-hmm.
they want to, they don't.
That's me.
Yeah. I can see that.
and you need people like that.
And there's both. Both
I mean,
of
I
them
look at the
have
future,
good.
But I'm a very long end gamer. Like my investments in real estate and stuff are. It's not a now thing at all. Like it's a long road before it becomes profitable and means a lot. And
There's definitely
but I always
benefits
saw
to
that.
both.
That was always my thing. Like I always knew like. My dad used to say everybody, he worked at UPS. He was like, everybody at UPS that retires early and does it well has like 1 or 2 rental properties. And then I'd read books and I was like, all these millionaires all have like ties in real estate at the beginning. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm just like I'm a dummy. Like I wasn't like really smart in school or anything like that. I'm just getting by.
Yeah.
I had common sense, you know what I mean? And like I had a mouthpiece, but I was like, okay, I'm taking that to heart. Like, let me go. I started as early as I could getting into real estate, and it's really now just finally starting to pay off. Really, in the last 5-6 years, where it was just a freaking grind the whole time.
Yeah.
There was nothing. It was we weren't making any money. It was all appreciation and equity that we weren't seeing or using. It wasn't tangible. You know what I mean? But now it's like it's finally starting to pay off. But so I mean, I am right now. Like I live in the now, but at the same time. I don't mind that slow grind. You know what I mean? Like I like that. Like I see our future like with a bunch of houses. You know what I mean? Like way more than we have now because we can't do anything with our kids. Like once the kids are out of here, like we're gonna blow up. We're gonna have an empire.
We're gonna be loaded.
We're not gonna have $400 a week in food bills.
Yeah.
I saw our future at one of his family members' birthday parties where I'm sitting across from somebody who has kids that are about our kids' ages apart, but they're in high school. So one of them just got their driver's license, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Mom, we were thinking, like, can we have the credit card? Because we were thinking about like stopping at Chick-fil-A on our way home to pick up lunch." And she's like, "There's literally going to be pizza delivered here in like 20 minutes if you stay." And I just bought a bunch of food for the house. Like I just spent $200 in groceries. Like you better be eating that food.
Man,
and
that
like,
sounds like
well,
us.
Yep.
none of that sounds good right now. And like you bought that big bag of Doritos. Like you didn't buy the individual bags of Doritos. And she's like, but the big bag of Doritos was cheaper. And I'm like, just throw some in a sandwich bag. And now
Yeah.
you have an individual bag. And I'm like, nah, that's too much work in the morning. I'm like, this is going to be me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our
100%.
Our kids' they've actually cut back on the DoorDash.
Yeah, because we made them pay for it.
Yeah, like you don't just get the credit card to save for your profile.
Well, then my mom was giving them
Yeah.
her card, and she was paying for DoorDash, and I was like, "You're stopping this."
That's gonna be your mom.
Like you can't do that anymore. Like this isn't gonna. This is unrealistic. Like they can't. If they go to college or whatever, they're going to be broke from DoorDash.
And they're going to have like diabetes.
Yeah.
From eating, like,
Yeah,
just
they're going to
crap.
be. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
going
A
to
bunch
gain
of
weight.
bullshit.
Yeah, that's what's kind of scary about technology. It makes everything easier. And the thing about the credit card versus cash is you don't. There, it's not tangible, right? So it doesn't feel like you're losing something until you get the bill.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
not for a
Working
month, so
cash
it's fine.
back in the
It's,
day.
yeah, so
Yeah.
if you have cash, I have $20 and I can give it to you and you'll give me some back, hopefully, and you'll feel like you lost something. So you don't necessarily always want to spend it because you feel like you're losing something. Credit
Yeah.
card,
We're
it's all
trying to work
digital.
on that
It's
with
just,
the kids now, but it's hard.
It's just numbers on the computer.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's like, oh, I want a hot chocolate. I want ice cream. I want this. I want that. I'm like, honey, this costs money. It's like we're trying to like equate it into toys. Like if I spend more money on this, we got less money for toys later.
Yeah.
Okay, toys are higher up in the hierarchy right now, so that's fine. But and it's the fruit snacks for breakfast. I'm like, nah, hun, we can't do that. We need to eat some like actual fruit and like
Yeah.
food.
Man.
Maybe we can have some fruit snacks later.
My son's trying to bulk, and all he does is eat cereal and milkshakes. I'm like, dude, that ain't gonna do it.
And gallons of milk.
Gallons. We go through 5 gallons a week. I guarantee it.
Oh
We
my
could.
goodness.
We don't. But we're like, dude, you got to slow down.
Yeah.
Every drink is like a 40 ounce of milk.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.